We are live.
Let's go! Yes, we are live. Happy Labor Day, everyone. What a beautiful day.
Happy Labor Day to you, motherfuckers. So, it's my honor. Like, one of my oldest friends is on with us. This is Jeff McCool. Jeff, introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are, where they can find your stuff, how they can follow you.
Where'd he go?
That
was awesome. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, support. We do some random wild music shit. I can't even really put it in into one box, but yeah, moccasingcreekmusic.com. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, that whole nine, and that's about it. I'm kind of on my way out of that transitioning. So
transitioning to what?
That's a terrible
transitioning
word.
means something way different.
That's a terrible phrase.
You'd make a lovely woman. Did anybody ever tell you that?
I had nice tits, dude. Nice rack.
Yeah. Thank you for sending those pictures earlier. It really, really enlightened me. Man, so we got So, go ahead, Alan. Sorry.
Well, he's kind of understating this. Anybody that's here that used to watch my old stuff, the intro music that I use, that's from Jeff. He let me borrow that. Yeah, he let me borrow it right when it was starting out. And honestly, that's probably why any of you know my motherfucking name. No, don't get me wrong. The swearing and the fucking sarcasm helped. But but it's like an intangible to have like that type of, like a good intro music song for your intro on YouTube, especially back then. That was 8 years ago, right? So it was like this little, it was like a little bump that had helped me out a lot. So dude, I'll always be thankful for it. That and like, you've had your struggles with weight. I think you're down well over 130 pounds right now, right?
Oh yeah. Hey, just bump that song and all that shit, dude. You saved my life, like flat out. Like that's the truth. I'm open about it. God, I guess it was probably 5 or 6 years ago. Alan was the only person to ever look me in the eyes and be like, dude, you got to do something. You're gonna die. Like none of my friends would say shit. I got so big. For one, I mean, I could fight, so nobody would say shit, And I was already a hothead. I just didn't. And for some reason, man,
And to paint this picture,
it made sense.
Jeff is 6'5" and was 400 pounds.
Well, he played professional football.
Right.
I mean, you don't accidentally play professional football and not be a badass.
Yeah. No.
And I will preface this: it's not like I wasn't terrified when I was telling you that either. So
no, I learned to be a badass because I had a pretty sister growing up, so I had to learn how to fight. Alan gave me some help there. I'm 6'4". I'd love to be 6'5", but when I started that journey, I mean that was the thing. I walked around.
That's a foot taller than me almost.
I walked around at 250, 255 from the time I was 18 through college playing ball and whatnot. And then, man, dude, literally the first 17 months I started touring doing music, I got up to 432 or 428.
Holy shit.
I just stopped weighing. When I started getting 5X shirts, I was like, come on, bro. Like, it was more frustrating than anything because I never was like that. I know how to live a clean, healthy lifestyle. I just didn't have it in me mentally at the time. And that's a whole nother avenue. But no, man, my hat's off and big thanks because it means the world because he was the only one that held me accountable. And shit, I just packed up one day, just went up to Pittsburgh and said, "Get me started."
Wow.
I knew how to do it. I just needed somebody to hold me accountable.
That's awesome.
Stayed with us for a couple of weeks, then we put him into a hotel, and then or you put yourself into a hotel, and then you've done real well from there, man. And I'm also very proud, like the thing you were talking about, like you've definitely got your shit together, like you've grown as a man, and both Mark and I can tell you that we understand what it's like to have like ADHD or something that's going on where your brain doesn't quite work in the traditional fashion, and the shit that you got to go through to do it. So I wanted to let you know as a person, dude. Not just because like you let me use the music and you just spoke real nice about me, but I wanted to let you know I'm really proud of you. Like really proud of you, man. So
thank you.
But that's awesome to hear.
That's our sappy love story.
Well, no. I just want to kind of go back to that. A lot of people get really frustrated when Alan speaks the truth, but that's honestly how you save people. Like the reason people get to the point they're at is because, oh no, you're not fat, you're beautiful. Oh no, it's like. Now, you know what? And beauty's an eye of the beholder. That might be some kind of fetish. That might be some kind of you might be attracted to bigger people, but from a health standpoint, nothing's beautiful about being fat. It just isn't. You might be beautiful on the outside to some, but on the inside, you're dying. And that's why we are so, that's why we are so passionate about helping people. And you can't just be like, well, you can't sugarcoat it. You just can't. No pun intended. You can't put a candy shell on it. You can't sugarcoat it. At the end of the day, we need to be honest with people. We need to be honest about health and fitness. We need to be honest about public health. We need to be honest about what happened in 2020 and the fact that the people who died do the dying. And I know that sucks to say, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, people who have comorbidities, and obesity is one of them, and you get a flu or a cold or a West Nile virus, you're more like Dr. Fauci. You're more likely to pass away. And I will say Dr. Fauci will be fine because Dr. Fauci's in very good shape. He runs miles every day. He exercises. And we should be promoting, Dr. Fauci should be promoting people live like him rather than just, take pills and pray.
It's like he and the Rachel, what's the health advisor?
Another chick, what was her name?
Thing, whatever it is. We're supposed to take health advice from this clown.
You're talking about the dude.
Yeah, the dude.
Rachel Levine.
Levine looks like 260 pounds of chewed up bubble gum, and we're supposed to listen. It's like it makes no sense. But no, going back to what you said, Mark, Alan, when I just had this conversation with somebody really, really close to me. She's the same way. She can tell me things bluntly and directly. And Alan has a ability of doing that too. And that's the thing, man. If you either take it or you don't. And if you can't take it, you're not built for life anyway. So fuck off. That's the way I look at it. If you can't listen to somebody tell you something you need to hear without being offended, without breaking down, you're not strong enough to live in the first place. So just be out of my space.
Well, you as a football player and coach, if somebody misses a down block, you have to tell them they missed the down block.
Right.
If somebody misses their gap responsibility, you have to tell them they missed their gap responsibility. So that's why I always say youth sports can save the world, because youth sports, it tells kids, I had a couple kids miss assignments on Saturday, and I'm like, hey, that was, your quarterback literally just, took a hit he shouldn't have taken because you missed your assignment. All you have to do, like Bill Belichick says, do your job. Right. And football and other sports, when you give direction and kids learn how to fail, how to succeed, and there's meritocracy, usually the hardest working kids are the best players 99% of the time. There's going to be some genetic anomalies here and there. But at the end of the day, if we just promote that, we get that mindset. And that's why you could take that. That's why Alan's approach worked. The people who get mad are the coddled little liberals who everybody gets a trophy, mommy's always coddling them. And those are the people who have a problem because they didn't have the correct upbringing. They had parents who were friends. They didn't have parents who were parents. If my kids act a fool, I'm going to tell them how they're acting a fool and what happens if they don't correct that action. And that's unfortunate today because everybody's like, oh no, we got little Billy. He has feelings. He needs his 20 medications and this. No, your kid doesn't need medications. He needs a parent.
What's so frustrating about what you just said is even when I was coaching, I ended up at 03, I think is when I stopped. I would have parents approach us about how we were talking to the kids and how rough we were. And I think, wait a minute, you played on the same team as I did. You grew up with the same. What changed in society that just allowed everybody to be so soft? And I know how you were raised. I know what you went through, the same shit we did. It wasn't too hard for you 25 years ago. What's changed?
Feminism. The feminization, the demasculinization of society. And those men who grew up as men, their testosterone levels are probably in the 200s right now. And they're probably obese. They probably don't exercise. They don't get enough sunlight. They eat ultra processed foods. So their testosterone is lower. And we know there's a direct correlation between testosterone and between voting patterns. So you can assume that voting patterns will also parallel. It's 100% true. Voting patterns.
There's a study. Yeah.
There's multiple studies. Voting patterns will also parallel how people raise their children. And I've never hit my kids. I've never had to. because they know I'm serious. And for example, I have one rule. My daughter's not allowed to drink in college. She drinks in college, she's out. It's a one strike rule. I don't care if everybody's drinking. I don't care if she's at a kegger. She'd go to these parties. She better have a bottle of water in her hand. Why? Because I'm not even going to say the figure because you guys are going to laugh at me. I'm not paying yearly out of pocket for her to go party. Well, there's plenty of parties in Brentwood, Tennessee she can attend. Okay, there's plenty of local colleges. UTK is right up the road. It's a fifth of the cost. We get in-state tuition, the Hope Scholarship. We could go there if you want to party. You're going to your astute business school to get a fucking education, to get your job done, then you come home. As far as I'm concerned, there's a business trip. And on this business trip, there are no extracurriculars. Now, you go out and have fun. She went to the game, the football game the other day. It was awesome. Sat in the student section. That was fun. But you just have to set those boundaries. Parents are afraid, like, well, they got to live the experience. I just posted something on Instagram, a stat that just blew my mind. I looked this up for the post. And this is why I'm anti-alcohol, just straight up. So let me read this. Every year, nearly 1,500 college students between the age of 18 and 24 die from alcohol-related unintentional injuries, including car crashes. Listen to this.
Crazy.
Over 600,000 students are assaulted by another student who has been drinking, and more than this number tripped me out because I have a daughter. 97,000 students experience alcohol-related sexual assault or date rape.
Ooh.
So, you're not drinking.
That would end in somebody's fucking death.
Well, we can't say that word. We can't say that word on YouTube. But we'll say, meaning death to taxes. Just bringing it death to people. So that's where my motivation comes from. But there's clear rules, clear guidelines. If they don't follow them, you have to follow through on the repercussions. The problem is parents have become so soft, so weak. Men are so feminized and that they're afraid to be called toxically masculine. They're afraid to be called overbearing or too strict. And it's like people are like, oh, well, when they go off to college, they're going to rebel. They can rebel all they want. She'll be right back here at JUCO.
Yeah.
That's how the world works, young lady.
I think a big problem is that like the societal norms and accepted things that are positive for society have been placed as negatives and or not important. Like I wear a shirt often that says traditionally masculine because they labeled me as toxically masculine, but I'm just traditionally masculine. Like I'm quick to whip somebody's ass if they make fun of my wife or they do something like that in person. Like you can say whatever the fuck you want online, but if I'm in person, I don't even care if I can fucking take you or I can or can't take you. I'm going to fucking try. Like I'm quick to defend my friends. Like I don't have many friends. It's me. I understand. I know. But like, I don't have many friends, but like, dude, I do anything for my friends. That's traditionally masculine to me. Right. And instead we have made it seem like these weak ass, pathetic ass men are the standard that men should be by. And then we've also made it seem like that. And this ties into everything I talk about pretty much because I'm very, very, obviously very, very big in obesity, but holy shit, like we have normalized obesity to the point where like it's supposedly attractive and that's a societal norm that is destroying us. Like I posted, since I had to see it, you guys got to see it. So I don't know if either of you have seen it yet, but hang on one second. I got something for you.
Yeah, please.
So give me 1 second.
Of course. We're going to shoot the shit. So how was the Arena Football League, man? How was that experience?
It wasn't as rough as this.
Look at her knees.
Where?
So there is a whole lot to unpack in that video, like a whole lot. But the biggest question I have is what the fuck are those heels made out of? Is that clear adamantium? Like if we put that into Wolverine's skeleton, would his claws come out? Like with just like, but some sort of... she is like,
she's going to die.
She's going to die. And the worst part is like, she thinks she looks good. Like you can tell, like she thinks she looks good.
Delusion, man. It's like I'm the first to say I'm not a walking billboard of good health. I get it. I work on it daily. I understand it. I don't go out, dude. It's so frustrating to see those people that they truly. I look good tonight. Tell me what? No, you're wearing a fucking bed sheet as a dress to go out. Like it's just the unhealthiness and the way that we've made it acceptable. We haven't, but the world has, because everybody's so scared of offending. It's just, man, it gets me frustrated, dude. I'll get worked up and I'll start getting mad. But yeah, it's disgusting.
Somebody once told me they're like, you know, because I said like, well, this is why fat people are supposed to be funny, you know, because like, you know,
yeah.
like it's a defense mechanism that if you grow up fat, you develop a sense of humor. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of funny, you know.
It's true.
Like I have this rule that bald jokes and fat jokes are always going to be funny because they're based in truth. You know, like but instead society has gone to, no, she's beautiful and you're just fat phobic. Like,
no,
I am terrified of being fat. I've been fat. And I'm terrified of going back there. I will never, ever, ever go back there. I can fucking guarantee that shit. I'd die first. No shit.
Yeah, it's absurd. And reading the comments, you know, there's just the glorification of it, and it's just wild. I mean, I used to, one of my favorite pastimes was when you used to be on Tess Holliday's fat ass all the time.
Oh my God, that was the best. Tess Holliday.
I used to. Is she still around?
Yeah, she's around.
She is.
Well, I was surprised she made it this far, man. I'm not being funny. It's just like, you know, the food eating ones, the ones that'll just sit there and, you know, they'll eat their 8,000 or 10,000 calories and just, man, I'm like, it's repulsive, bro. Like,
yeah. The sad part is that YouTube promotes that content.
Yeah,
like YouTube, TikTok, they all promote it because I don't know what YouTube gets from, but I know what TikTok gains. When they were talking about banning TikTok, I'm against it, but I understand because TikTok is literally our biggest threat to America, and they are force feeding our children and our citizens mind-numbing, dopamine-crushing friggin' content. So I understand, but then I'm like, well, so does Facebook. So whatever, you know, and also we're a free society. It's up to us as parents to monitor what our kids are watching. It's like, our kids are watching TikTok. I'm like, yeah, you gave them the phone. This goes back to parenting. The problem is, and I'm not acting like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing as a parent. I have no idea what I'm doing. I know that I have one daughter. I know I have one daughter at 18 who's crushing it. I have a son at 16 who's crushing it. I have a son at 11 who's an amazing young man, hell of an athlete. Like he's like a football prodigy. I mean, so for example, he's in his 11 and 12-year-old football league, top team, top league. And no one kicks, you know, you've played, no one kicks extra points at 11 and 12 years old. You know what? They allow it though. We had to look it up. It's worth 2 points. So if you kick an extra point, it's worth 2 points. He kicked the first, and he's not even a kicker. He kicked the first extra points, and he's kicked multiple so far, 2 games in like 10 years in the league. It's unheard of. So I don't know, but my kids are all, you know, they're all very respectful, very good people. They train their ass off, great work ethic. They've both started their own businesses. Both my oldest ones, my 11-year-old, I'm just happy he doesn't pick his nose anymore. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm a strong male and I set forth rules, but I still joke around my kids. I curse around my kids. They hear a bunch of inappropriate conversations. But my kids get that I am in charge. I am the boss. I am the man of the house. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not toxic. That's the reason the crime rate is so high in the inner city. It has nothing to do with being black, has nothing to do with being Hispanic. It has to do with there being no fathers in these households. And if I say that I'm racist, I'm like, well, look at the statistics. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah. 20%
of these kids have a dual parent household. It's disgusting. Yet if we talk about it, we're misogynists. You know, I mean, I could go on for days, but it is the crux of everything I deal with is I can't reach enough young men. I'm trying. I deal with hundreds a week, if not thousands, yet I can't reach enough to make an impact because there's millions of kids who are just left in the dust with no positive real role model. It disgusts me. It drives me up the wall.
That's another reason I think you touched on it earlier, Mark, is I wouldn't necessarily say just football, but I've been a big proponent of, I think all kids between like the ages 10 and 14 at that age group need to be a part of some team function in some aspect for so many reasons. One, you learn about everybody's background, their walks of life. You get educated to what every type of person can be, where they're from, this, that, and the other. but you're also learning from people outside of your home, and you're learning how to take direction. You're learning to be coached. You're learning to listen. You could only get that, in my opinion. I'll go as far as saying, dance squads, gymnastics, whatever there is.
I've coached wrestling, soccer. I coached 7 different sports at my youth performance facility, Legacy. Right. So yeah. I had a rule in my house. You have to play one team sport and participate in one combat sport. Right. It started with soccer and boxing. All my kids had competitive boxing matches. All of them have win-loss records, except my daughter. She only sparred. And then all of my kids have either won regional or state in wrestling. So every single one of my kids, they gain, again, you get to parent less when you're a strong father at home, but you also participate in their, I'm not saying everybody needs to coach, but like be a part of it. Go to the practices, watch it, go to the games, be an active parent. Pretend like, even if you don't care, pretend like you care, right? Like go there and be a part of your kids' lives. And that's the problem, is that even parents who are at home, they're not really there. They don't really pay attention. They don't set the ground rules. They let the kids just run through them. And there's no direction for these children. So a lot of times you could have a dual parent household. We had one tweet I commented on this weekend where this guy's like, yeah, my family went on vacation. I brought a nanny so my wife and I could spend quality time. I'm like, you don't want to spend vacation time with your kids? That's the best part. I'm like, this goes to show you that, men are having children and not being fathers. Even when they're there, they're not really there.
Agreed.
And these are people with money too. Enough money to bring I got the bag.
Yeah, enough money to bring.
I got money. I'm not bringing a fucking nanny along on vacation because I'm also Jewish. That means I'm really cheap. So we're going to learn to have a good time together.
Jesus. Yeah, it's crazy.
Speaking of having a good time together, I see that they're bringing the vid back.
Oh yeah, that's so I've been on a little tear. Just getting in fights with everybody because for some reason my algorithm's there and I can't shut my mouth. So essentially, I'll bring this tweet up. So essentially, this is, I wanted to show the stats. So hold on. There's so much news today that I am inundated with just news. Here it is. I got it. Here it is. Bring that up on the screen. So essentially, they're claiming that there's a huge viral activity. Over 1,000, I think they're saying deaths a week from the C word. And so viral activity in wastewater, something like this. It's kind of, COVID wastewater viral activity. I don't even know what the hell that is, but it appears that Tennessee is going to die. I'm pretty sure we're all already dead. It is going to be the winter of death.
Yeah.
And
of course, this is the final winter of death, I'm sure.
But this one appears to be, I don't know what this one is. I think it's the same map. I don't know, but it appears that they're trying to bring it back. So people are, and I'm not sure who's a bot. I'm not sure who's not. It's really hard to figure out who's a bot anymore. Here's another one I found. See aware parents are having a tough time now, especially as kids head back to school during a wave with no mitigations because, kids are at such high risk. What's worse, adults are now bullying kids who mask, bullying parents of masked children. I'm good with bullying parents, guys, and I'll explain.
Me too.
I'll explain. So in any other world, actually, no, if you're wearing a mask and you walk into my place of business, I think you're going to rob me if it's pre-2020. 100%. Yep. So I'm going to be like, take off your mask or you got to leave this business because I don't trust you. I can't identify you. So if you're walking down the street in a mask, pre-2020, I think I honestly think you're about to commit a crime because masked people commit crimes. It's just what they do. Post-2020, I just think you're retarded. And here's why. Here's why, because they don't work. Number one, you're outdoors. Number three, you're not using the mask correctly. So none of these people even the people who are wearing N95s do this. Okay, let's assume they do that. You realize by touching it, putting your dirty, filthy, dingy hands on it just once without washing them first, you have to throw them away. That is how masks work. If you don't do it like that, all you're doing is taking those germs from your hand and making it an inhalant. It's just really absurd that these people still exist. So I'm obviously trolling because Why not? But what I don't understand, no matter how much data, they will throw fake data and they will throw data in perfect settings and use false things, but people are still masking their children. People are still masking themselves, and people are still mask shaming people like us. So the reason I need to point, laugh, and ridicule these people is because for 2 years, these people tried to do it to me and my family. So you are the ones who ruined my year. Actually, didn't. I live in Tennessee. We didn't do it. You are the people who ruined this country. You idiots who bought into this. You are the reason this country went the way it did. So I will treat you as you should be treated. And that is like an absolute freaking moron.
Man, it's so funny you said that. Just I meant to tell you this the other day, Alan. I flew down to Florida a few weeks ago, and no, I was flying out to Texas. I'm sorry. And I grew up in the deep south of Florida. And I will just tell you now, my favorite people of all time, and still are the older black men from the South. They're just funny, right? I love them to death. And I'm sitting in the exit row with a guy. We get on the plane, and I'm not even going to say flight attendant because dude was straight up a stewardess. You know what I mean? Like he's wearing his mask, and he walks up, and they have to go through the exit row spiel now, and you have to give a verbal yes or no. I'm okay with this. And the guy mutters this shit, and I'm like, I just nodded my head. He's like, I need a verbal. I said, yes. And he looked at the guy next to me. He goes, what about you, sir? And he kind of acted like he couldn't hear him. He's trying to get him to pull his mask down. And he said, he just nodded his head. And the stewardess dude says, this is a serious matter, sir. He goes, all due respect, boy. He said, I can't take anybody serious wearing that bullshit on their face. I lost it. It was just the way he said it. He was like, with all due respect, boy, I can't take anybody serious wearing that diaper on his face.
So this was a black guy? This is a black guy who called him boy?
He's probably 72. He looks like Samuel Jackson from the damn Django. We laughed the whole flight to Texas, dude. It was one of my best
Jeff,
flight experiences.
But Jeff, you're a Trump voter and you're from the South, so you're of course racist, though, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm racist because I deem myself a redneck or white trash. You're like, what? It's the dumbest shit ever, man. It's crazy.
Definitely white supremacy. I sense a lot of white supremacy and toxic masculinity in this conversation. We need to stop it right now before the feds are listening to everything we do.
Hi, FBI.
Well, I mean, they listen to your phone calls. They screen your texts. I mean, Snowden should literally have a monument built for him. That guy's an American hero.
He is.
Facts.
So
facts.
Real quick, back to the scary virus. I'm just going to say this. Everybody getting freaked out about it. A new novel illness that has an average fatality age over the age of life expectancy, and those people all had, on the average, 4 serious other comorbidities, isn't even justification for a state of emergency.
Yes.
You know what that is? Flu season, bitches. That's flu season.
When's the last time you heard the term, Katie's sick? Yeah, she's got the flu. The flu doesn't exist anymore. It's just, it's crazy, man. It's absurd, dude.
It doesn't exist. Crazy. The flu went away.
Yeah. It no longer exists. It's all the C word now. It's like, oh man, it's crazy.
I miss when the C word was just the old C word.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't understand these people. And then everybody, it's like, oh, it's just a cold. Yeah, it's a coronavirus. That's a cold. There are varying degrees of cold. Have you ever gotten sniffles? Okay, that is a weak cold. Have you ever gotten a really bad headache and sniffles and a runny nose? That's a bad cold. So just because it's a severe cold doesn't make it any less of a coronavirus. That's these idiots don't understand. When we say it's just a cold, we are not saying it's just the sniffles. And people have said that. No, it might not be just the sniffles. It's the same virus that causes the sniffles. It might be a souped up man-made virus by Fauci in China, which we can say now. But at the end of the day, it's not, it's just a cold. It literally is, by definition, by its chemistry, it is just a cold. So when we say it's just a cold, people, I know people who died from that. I know people who died from dumber things than that.
Oh yeah.
I know people who died from dumb shit.
Anytime I'm in public, it's one of I can't help it. anytime I'm in public and see somebody with a mask, I walk by and I fake sneeze every time. Just
funny.
Just keep walking, dude. And they all look. They know that they look like dumbasses. It's just
I think
they're in them to conform.
I disagree, dude. They're virtue signaling. They think they think
they're right.
Mask makes it's like look, man. I'm not going to shit on Christianity. However, I'm going to shit on some Christians. Some Christians think by putting a cross around their neck that they are superior to everyone who doesn't buy into Jesus. It is what it is. You know that's true. But you know that's. Am I being honest? Am I being honest?
Oh, yeah, 1,000%. Yeah,
You've met those Christians. It's
I know
like, oh, you haven't accepted Jesus Christ. I'm like, no, I'm waiting and seeing. Well, you realize that you're going to hell. I'm like, I don't know if that's the right approach to this messaging. I think maybe you should offer like cupcakes or something more enticing than hell. Like negative reinforcement is never the answer, guys. So what the mask becomes is that the left is no longer a political ideology. The left is now a religion. And that's where you get scared. That's where you get scary shit. Because the first thing a tyrannical government does, they get rid of religion because the state wants to become your religion. And with the left, they've already accomplished that. No matter what the issue is, no matter what, if it's the C word, if it's unions, if it's Ukraine, if it's Israel, Israel's different though. Israel has actually split the left, which is phenomenally hilarious. But you have this religion. So they released a poll or a survey last week that most Trump voters, there's a lot of Christian and religious Trump voters, evangelicals, whatever. The left is like 67% atheist.
No, they're not. Speaking as the atheist, like
you don't think they are?
They're anti-theist.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
there's a difference.
So they just hate God
because they hate religion. Like I don't hate religion. You guys do you.
I love religion.
Trust me. I hope I'm wrong. Like nothing would make me happier than like I always describe this, and you're here now, so it's perfect. Like I've always said that nothing would make me happier than eternity with my wife in her best ass bikini, sitting on my lap with a bucket of beer that doesn't give me a hangover on a cruise ship, listen to my favorite band, you, perform on the Lido deck as I'm on a cruise, and that would be my heaven. Like, you know,
so would he have to be dead, or can his band play to the dead?
It's my fucking heaven, so he can fucking play to the dead.
I didn't know that the heaven can be your heaven. I thought heaven had to be like rolling the dice with Elvis.
Heaven would have to be my heaven because my heaven would not have any pedophiles in it.
Pedophiles wouldn't go to heaven though; they'd go to hell.
Catholics say they can.
Okay, but Catholics, we can't really include Catholics in a serious conversation now.
Well, then I'm definitely not religious because I grew up Catholic. But
Catholics think you can just like live a life of sin and at the last second be like, I repent, heaven. It's like, what? Yeah. Come on. I like Christianity better.
To stop humping on religion, I also want to point out.
Pissed everybody off.
Yeah, this is what we do. We piss everybody off. I'll also point out that the religion known as COVID was also used to destroy many, many, many independent businesses and industries. Like,
yes,
or in the attempt to, right? So there was for anybody that owns an independent gym that was able to stay in business after COVID, my fucking hat's off to you because it crushed so many small gym owners. Jeff, you're an independent music artist. It crushed. You guys depend on touring a lot. Like touring is a big part of revenue for you guys. They canceled that shit on all you motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
Now that wasn't going to hurt the music industry. That wasn't going to hurt CMT or anything like that because these motherfuckers have the bag and they all have contracts with CMT and they're going to get the push no matter what. But you and the Lax and like people like Calhoun and then the others like Hard Target, all these guys, you're all independent. So if you guys can't tour, you're fucked. And they told you we don't give a fuck. You're fucked. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's kind of a double-edged sword because I hate to even admit this because social media is such a double-edged sword in itself. I mean, they don't have to pay us. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've made my living off of social media. At the same time, I hate it just as much as it's been beneficial to me. The second year, when they finally started to open shit up a little bit after the craziness, we all saw major spikes in our streaming income because people were forced to stay home. Now, the ones of us that had deep catalogs, been doing it a long time, I think we benefited a lot more. But you're right. I mean, touring was very, very beneficial to what we do for many reasons. One, you get paid, you sell merchandise, but you're getting in front of people. So each time you get in front of people that like you, you start streaming more. So it all goes back to that streaming thing where, you know, it's weird because I was a part of this when the shift went from, you know, you couldn't do anything unless somebody downloaded you couldn't make any money unless something was downloaded or they bought your hard copies. So once the streaming shit came along, we all freaked out because everybody's like, well, you can stream it for free. How you going to get money? You know? And if you recall that first year when they made the transition into all the Apple Music and all the Pandoras and all that stuff started coming out, nobody made any money. And there was, I don't know who made the call and made it happen, but yeah, it's a double-edged sword, dude, because I'm the first to tell you, like, we don't have to get paid from them, but now conforming to all of their rules and their regulations and their, you know, they limit our reach and this, that, and all the shit that we worked so hard to get to. Yeah, it's frustrating, dude, but we can't just walk away because it's our livelihood, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, it's a mess. So and then you got the people like the Zuckerbergs now that like, all right, he made his money. He walked away. What do people that have tons and tons of money do? They pick up a passion. They pick up a Brazilian jiu-jitsu. They pick up working out. He doesn't give a shit about it anymore. He made his money. So whatever's going on there, just I hate it because I think the same shit's going to follow. It's free and as much as Elon's about freedom of speech and First Amendment and all that, which I respect. It's only a matter of time before 3 or 4 or 5 years from now before that's taken over by other people because he's off doing something else. You know, it's like it's just this vicious circle. That's my opinion, and it's just what's happened to us over the last decade. So I don't know, man. It's crazy. That's why I just want the IRS off my back. And I want to live on my damn farm and make shit happen. That's it. You know.
Well, unfortunately, with the 87,000 new IRS agents, it's not.
Oh yeah, they found my ass quick.
Oh yeah, they will find you.
Oh yeah,
they will find you, and you're not going to see me taken up for most government organizations. So, especially one that is actually meant to go after the hardworking middle class.
That's my issue with it. It's like I get it. I mean, first off, we're the most taxed people on the planet. It's absurd. You know, it's understand. But my situation was 1,000%. My ex-wife and I, it was 1,000% an honest mistake that sat for 3 years unattended to by the government, and we get 3 years worth of fees and add all this just bullshit. So I've spent $15,000-$20,000 in the last 9 months with tax attorneys and all this other shit just to go in and negotiate this cost down. Basically, just getting rid of all the fees they've tacked on for years of. It's
our system is messed up because you have to figure out the number.
Right.
The book is like thousands of pages. If you get the number wrong, they go in, they say, here's what you owe. Why don't you just tell me what I owe in the first place and I'll pay it? Why do I have to pay a team of 4 people to go and figure out what I owe if you guys already have the answer? Can you please just give me it? That's why a flat tax or a fair tax makes sense. It's like, okay, hey, you made $100,000, you owe us $10,000. Done. Here's your
exactly. It's not like we don't have enough people in the world making. If you set those levels of income, like they're going to get. First off, more people are going to pay it. I mean,
and we can get rid of bureaucracy.
Yeah, let me clarify. I've always paid my taxes. That's not the issue here. It's an oversight on some bullshit that just led to fee after fee after fee after this, that, and other. And it's like, put a flat tax on things. Make it, you know, you're already taxing us on the money we earn and then the money we spend, the groceries we get. We're taxed on everything. It's like, dude.
And then they tax you when you die.
Yeah, exactly. It's more expensive to die than it is to have a damn wedding now. You know, it's crazy.
It's the worst. We are in, again, the federal tax was supposed to be temporary to fund the Civil War. And then they kept it. And property tax, you never truly own your house. You never
Property
truly own
tax
your
is
house.
completely unconstitutional.
All tax is unconstitutional. The federal tax is unconstitutional, but it's just one thing after another. Oh, we're just gonna add this little tax to pay for this. Gonna add this property tax to pay for schools. How come we can't afford to pay for schools out of that other shit?
Like all your toll roads, the lotto. Remember that was the whole thing when the lottery came out.
Lotto, yeah.
All that money's going for the schools. What kills me. I just read a thing about those jackasses in New York with the Cuomos of the world and all those idiots. Have you seen the driving tax they implemented downtown now? It's like
I did not.
Yeah, it's absurd, man. It's absurd. It's like first off, it costs you like, I don't know, it's crazy amount of money just to get across the G-Dub Bridge to get into town. But then there's another tax now just to go around. They're trying to make more tourists come to town and use their Ubers and their city. It's gotten to a point to where they're completely going to eliminate the middle class any way they can. It's like,
well, they already have. COVID did that.
That's why I think that was like, okay, you got you got a tax on this bridge to pay for this bridge. It paid for itself in 7 months. Like for 30 years, you need to keep charging people to go across this bitch.
So I saw a thing that the large trillionaires, they made like $68 trillion. And 68 trillion. I don't know if I'm trillion or billion. Let's say billion. It was some absurd. It was like the amount of money lost by citizens was the same amount gained by the billionaires and trillionaires. So as Thomas Massey predicted, this will be an exact, direct transition of wealth from the working class to the ultra wealthy. That's what it always was supposed to be. It went to Walmart, it went to Costco. Mm-hmm. They were allowed to stay open, whereas the neighborhood stores were not considered essential and they shut them down. So again, Walmart never closed. Kroger never closed. Target never closed, but the local stores closed. And that was and Amazon stayed open, obviously. And somehow people delivering food couldn't get COVID. They couldn't get COVID. They're just delivering food. So they're like, oh, I'm saving lives. I'm ordering food. You're about to kill your goddamn Uber Eats driver, you idiot. Stop.
Hey, still to this day, the funniest shit ever was watching football players get off the field and have to put a mask on the sideline.
Oh my God.
There's no COVID in the playing area. You know, you can't get sick out there. You come to this sideline, you better buckle that bitch on. Like, dude. And the people that truly believe this shit, it's ultra mind bending. Like you can't be that stupid.
Well, but here's the thing though, and there are only a few people in society who can think. It's just true. And you need that in society. If everybody in society was a leader, no one would do the actual hard work. Right? Like there's a lot of people, there are a lot of leaders like me who started on the ground, who are willing to work their way up. But you need a lot of people who are just mindless. I hate to say it, sounds really fucking, what is the word? Elitist of me, but I'm just being fucking honest. You need people who just want to do their job and go home. Do their job and go home. They don't think. I was talking to a neighbor today and we were talking about guns. He's like, well, the government will never take away your guns. I'm like, so I had to spend another 10 minutes. And then he's like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, so when I'm like, well, what about this? He's like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, what about this? Oh, I didn't know that. And there's a guy making probably $300,000, $400,000 a year to live in my neighborhood, right? Like he's making bank. Like there's no poor people in my neighborhood. I'm just being honest. I'm not bragging. I'm just being honest. Like these are very smart people, very successful people. But the reason like people like Alan and I know as much as we do is we're basically piped in because during 2020, before 2020, I was him. I would have told you that there's no way the government will ever try to take away our guns. There's no way the government will ever come in and shut down the economy. There's no way the government would ever try to suppress free speech. And 2020 changed me. So I know that guy. I know my neighbor and I'm not mad at him, but I'm going to have micro conversations with him because I ain't got time. I don't have the patience all day to educate him, but he was receptive. He's like, no way. Are you fucking serious? And we're just walking our dogs. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's fucked up. You got to look into this. And once you educate people, there's a guy, he's like, no, I'm not a gun guy, but I think everybody should own one, but the government won't take it away. I'm like, have you looked at New York? Have you looked at California? You just happen to live in Tennessee. So the problem is I don't think people are necessarily stupid. They just like being ignorant. And I will say that is a beautiful place in life to be. 2008, 2009, the fucking market crashed. We had a fucking terrible economic situation. At that time, I owned a business and a house. I was one of the people who was most susceptible to what was going on. I did not know till 2016 that we ever had a crash. Because you know what I did? I went to work. I ran my business. I noticed people couldn't afford as much stuff. So I'm like, fuck it. I got on the road. I sold more shit. That's what people do. A lot of people just want to pay for their family's bills. They want to shut the fuck up. They don't want to be under the microscope. They don't want the government fucking looking at them closely. They don't want to get in trouble. And that was me. So I can't really fault those people. 2020, I'm like, okay, this is really getting fucked up. I need to step up. But that's what happens. People just need that. Unfortunately, for some people, especially people like that who just work from home. So for them, it was a vacation. They were able to fix up their house and making the same amount of money, just doing the same job. They didn't have to travel. It was awesome. For them, COVID was a vacation. But they don't care. They don't care about the people who lost their jobs. All they care about is their family, because the human condition is to take care of your people, is take care of your family first. That is actually a man's main job. But a man's people should be his community and his country as well. And that's what I realized after 2020.
You know, the biggest thing that I like pull away from the conversation you just had, or the story you just told, is that like, to think the government won't do shit to you, if we let the government think they can, they will. Like, yes. This is no shit. Mark, the cruise I was on that almost didn't get let back into, like, I
forgot about cruise. That.
Yeah. I was on a cruise. It was his cruise. Like,
they were like, be prepared for 2 weeks. I was like, no, I was about to knock somebody out, dude.
Yeah. No. So, like, it's the same thing. Like, my biggest thing about all of this was, you can't set precedent to the government that our rights are privileges, that they're in control of. The very second we allow the government in any way to think that they can tell us what rights we have, then they're no longer rights, they're privileges. And to make them rights again, we're going to have to do some stuff that I probably shouldn't say while we're on YouTube. So
yeah, you're right.
You guys know what I'm talking about. So
we know exactly what you're talking about, but you know, it's really good to know that Kamala's black.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she's really black because here's a funny thing.
Did you see that clip, Mark, on the Wikipedia, how she changed her race over 23 times in the last 7 years on her Wikipedia?
It's almost like Elizabeth Warren, except Elizabeth Warren really went hard on the Native American thing. Yeah. So here's one. So here's Kamala in just a couple hours apart in Detroit versus Pittsburgh.
If she says yins, I'm gonna freak out.
So she says, let's get through the next
64 days. So friends, 64 days until the most election of our lives.
The most election of our lives.
Let's just get through the next 64 days.
So here's her talking to black people.
So friends, 64 days.
Andrew.
Until the most election. Let's just get through the next 64 days.
She's got to be retarded.
So you need to go watch Eddie Griffin, the comedian's rant on her yesterday about that. It is epic. It's hilarious. And it's just factual. It's like, and if you say something about it, you're deemed racist. I'm like, no.
I don't think anybody's deeming anybody racist. I haven't been called racist over that because it's even the Democrats are like, we're not gonna this one. Okay, yeah, she's that.
My dago ass is darker than her. What the fuck? You know?
I mean she's Indian. Yeah.
But she's blacker than her.
But here's the actual let me pull this up. This is the actual Detroit rally. This is her full black speech. It's like blackface, but with speech. Because she's a Jamaican. Her dad was from Jamaica, but that's like if I moved to Africa next year, being like, yeah, I'm African. Yeah, he was a Jamaican slave owner. But anyway, here we go.
You better thank a union member.
What? You better thank a union member. You go, girl. You know what? We really need to do something about that white liberal woman in the back. We need to ban them.
Yes.
Banish them from society.
Dude, they're the worst.
Want a 5-day work week?
Okay, first of all, if you're doing a 5-day work week, you're not going to be successful. Sorry.
You're a pussy.
A union member
You better thank a union member
for sick leave. You better
for sick leave.
thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
How about this, guys? How about if you don't like your job in the hours, you find a job that has better hours and you become qualified for better jobs. That's how the free market works. And it's absurd to think. So if I have a company that treats its employees like shit, they're not going to stay. I am incentivized to keep good employees. So I give them free gym membership. I give them healthcare. I give them 401k match. I give them dental. I give them medical. I cover it all because my employees are fucking awesome and I want to keep them.
You hire
If I actually, we're not. We're living in Bidenomics time right now. We're doing our best to sustain and hopefully grow once the economy kicks back. I'm not going to be like, oh, we're growing at a record pace. We're not. We're struggling every single day, as most businesses are. Not meaning like we're struggling, but it's not like we're raking it in. Yeah. It's not. And in order to maintain, we can't even in order to maintain cost competitiveness, our profit margins suck because, we don't import as much from China as a lot of companies. So nobody cares. It's like I get my creatine from Germany, that people get it from China. People are like, well, I could buy that for 15, yours is 18. And I'm like, yeah, but it's fucking from Germany. They're like, we don't fucking care. We can't afford that $3. That's America right now. People are just trying to get by. So, for us to be able to compete, we have to literally sell for shit margin. And then people are like, why'd your price go up? I'm like, because prices went up. Everything went up. The cost of goods went through the roof. So it's hard. It's really hard to own a business right now. And I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat anything. It's difficult. It's difficult. Now I'm not driving myself to the poorhouse, but I have my employees to pay. I have my overhead. I have, again, we like to take care of our employees. People always complain about companies don't take care of their employees. We do. Yet they'll support other companies like Amazon who treat their employees like shit. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, our employees aren't striking. Our employees love where they work. Our employees go to work every day, excited for work. Amazon employees are literal slaves. Yet people would rather buy supplements from Amazon than support tigerfitness.com because we even get there at the same time. We are 1-day shipping to most of the country. We have 2 locations. Yet I'm dealing with, oh, well, Amazon has it for this. And I'm like, bro, you're literally on one end, you're like, we need to, and I'm not shaming anybody. I understand. But everybody wants, oh no, you got to have this. You got to be pro-America. Okay, we do all that. So it's time for people to step up and support companies like us, like everything Tim Pool does, all he's doing with the skate park and shit. I guarantee you this, Tim's making money online, but all those business ventures he had, he's losing his ass on at the beginning. My man's building shit. He's building culture. He's building coffee shops. People are like, oh, why should I give Tim more money? I'm like, you realize he's successful at his newscasting, podcasting thing, but all those other ventures, those are going to cost money that are going to take years to come back, even if he crushes it. So he's building infrastructure.
And I think that, right now, a lot of people are very leery about the next couple months to see what actually happens. Because all the people that are like, oh, they'll never take the guns, they'll never do this, they'll never do that. I'm sure that most of these people never thought that they would classify people as essential and non-essential and literally tell us we're not allowed to travel and have some gremlin come on TV and say, you can't have more than one person at your house for 4th of July.
And Tim Walz canceled Thanksgiving in Minnesota. Now he's running for VP. How scary is that?
Bro,
the most tyrannical dude.
That dude, man. Yeah, I forgot. We're on YouTube.
No.
Okay, you can say this in a non-violent, non-confrontational way. I'm sure you can. I have faith.
I can't. Not with him, man. It's just, dude.
Man, you're a Christian. You got this, bro.
But it's the stuff that they force. It's just and the people that accept it. And you can't look at that. First off, he looks like the dad from Tommy Boy, so I can't get past that.
Oh my God, I can't unsee
now
that
I cannot
shit now.
unsee that
Every
shit.
time I see him,
Oh
I
my
expect him
God.
to start dancing and have a heart attack, and then Chris Farley run over and get mouth to mouth. Like every time I see him. But yeah, he's
Oh my God.
it's wild. And the fact that, you know, what really tickles me the most is you don't see any of these Democrats standing up saying, wait a minute, she wasn't even our choice. Like, we didn't get a vote on this. Like,
I would be so pissed off if a Republican did that.
Oh shit! Like, I mean, hey, it's just, and can we just I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm gonna stop. Yeah,
But bro,
No, go
what
ahead.
I say before, Jeff, it's a religion. It's not politics. It's a religion. They fall in line.
It's very occultish, man.
That is how they take power. They get rid of religion. Right. Every tyrannical leader and party in the history of the world, first thing they do is they take away religion. And that's why I'll talk shit about religion here and there. I'll joke around, and I'm of Jewish descent, right? I'll joke around about the Jews. Look, man, there's nobody more pro-religion in this country than Mark Lobliner. I might not have a religion, but I look at it this way. When my daughter brings home a friend and they love Jesus, I'm happy with that choice. If my daughter gets a boyfriend who says a prayer before every meal, I'm pretty happy about it. Like I was just talking about these kids I coach. So I coach, we coach a local high school. After every game, we don't care, dude. We're in Tennessee. Okay. After every game, they go in the end zone, they say a team prayer, and the entire, so after the game, after they win, the entire stands come on the field. After the game, the coach gives his talk in front of not only his team, they're in the front, but the entire stands are on the field. And then everybody, including the people from the stands, the coaches and the players say the Lord's Prayer.
Right.
And I'm standing there with my wife because we're on the sideline because we're the ones who warm them up and at halftime stretch them out. And my wife doesn't. She's just there for moral support for me, I guess. And she's pretty. So anyway, and she's the company. She runs the company. So yeah, I'm just the idiot who stretches people. So anyway, I'm like the first day I'm looking at my wife and I'm like, I am so happy we live in the great state of Tennessee. Like, this is amazing. They would never do that in California. You know what? University of Michigan, dude, Harbaugh instilled that love of God. You know, they at the end of every game, at the beginning of every game, they say a prayer.
I played for his brother in college.
No
I played
shit.
For John. Yeah, I played for John. He was and he was always that guy. And let me be clear, man. I have never, and I grew up in a very Southern Baptist town. I'm not and never have been a fan of organized religion by any means. I do have my beliefs in higher power and God and what I feel. But at the same time, you touched on something that, you know, I mean, everybody catches Rogan clips, whether you watch him or not. But and he's a open atheist as well. But he always says the same thing, that I have the same feeling that anybody that lives a life with those actual values, they're going to be a better person as a whole. Just no matter what your belief system is, if you have any sort of core value and belief in anything, you're better than the next person that's just running amok. You know what I mean? But I think that is the issue. Is organized religion is just completely is as divisive as politics and any other label we divide in every way we look at it. We have left, we have right, we have Republicans, we have Dems, we have Christian, you have Jews, you have it's all created a divide.
Yes, you're right. But the one thing that can unite us all is a belief in something better, something bigger. And I think that allows you believing in something beyond this life it's like building up a job resume. I know that's a weird way to put it, but you start out working at this job and you earn your place. You start up working at this job. Whereas if you're looking up to a religion, you're working for heaven, you spend your life earning heaven. And I think that's a beautiful way to live. Like after every game, the youth team I coach, after every practice and after every game, so one of the kids says a prayer. We pray for everybody to get home safe or, do better on their test. Every game we pray for the other team. Usually we pray for them to get better. So they give us some competition. Know what I'm saying? No, we pray for the other team. And that's just a way you go out there, you do battle as men, and then you say a prayer. and you pray for them. You pray for their souls. You pray for their bodies. You pray for their health. You pray for their family. And there's just something so wholesome about prayer, organized prayer, about sitting with your fellow man and woman and praying for the, you know, for basically the righteousness and the success and the health and everything good for your fellow man. And that's something that I love about organized religion. And again, one of the reasons I love living in Tennessee is because of the religious ethics it has, because of the ethos we have here where we love God and we're not afraid to say it. We're not afraid to insult an atheist who might not believe in God. We love God and we're okay to profess that. It should be your right to profess it. And if you want to sit down and lead a prayer, it's someone's right to not bow their head. But I'll tell you what, I bow my head every single time because
it's a respect thing. I understand exactly what you're saying. It's a respect matter as a whole. And, you know, it's no different with the kneeling idiots with the flag and whatnot. You know, it's a respect thing first and foremost. Yes. Get up, respect the rest of your team, respect everybody in this stadium. That Megan Rapinoe, whatever that idiot soccer chick is,
she ruined it for me.
She completely she hates the country. Like these people that hate America, just go. Your stance, by taking that stance, you're not proving anything but your unpatriotism, and it's just
exactly.
it's gotten so out of hand, man. It's just. Man.
Part of the problem with the left is, I mean, like Mark was listing off the statistics about how many of them don't believe or are anti-theists or they claim to be atheist, whatever. Like, I'm a big believer, like, and I say it fairly often. I got tons of posts about it, but you know, as an atheist, I can tell you that a lot of people on the left need Jesus, like really need Jesus, like they really, really, really do. Because everybody needs a moral anchor. Like, I mean, and Jeff, you've spent time with me and my wife.
We've had this conversation several times.
But my wife and my kid are my moral anchor. I'd be a straight up fucking demon without them. Like for real.
Same.
I mean, straight up fucking demon, right? And I know that about myself. But my wife and my son allow me to have empathy. They allow me to like put myself in other people's shoes because if like the thought of something bad happening to either one of them like is unacceptable. So that makes me feel for other people who lose their children, you know, like almost more deeply than I think other people do, which is kind of weird. Like, cause I get choked up at like the slightest little thing. Like I was watching the videos of the Gold Star families, the recordings they made about like, because they were trying to politicize Trump showing up at the unknown soldier's grave. Like, but I just think that a lot of these people, like, a lot of you motherfuckers really need Jesus. Like you need something in your life to give you some sort of moral standard, you know? Like,
it's a little, not quite off topic. It just made me think of the irony, how coincidental it was. You were talking about shoes, your son, this, that, and other. I had no idea who I was giving my shoes to on that cruise, and it happened to be your boy. I was like, my son went on. This is how good of a person Jeff is. It was wild.
I've heard people talk shit about Jeff and think he's the best thing ever. But we're on this cruise and we just listened to Jeff perform, right? And my son's there with me and my wife. My son leaves after Jeff's done because country rap is not necessarily his thing. But he knows you and he loves it, right? So my son gets into the elevator and in walks Jeff, sweating and everything like that. And my son was wearing something different and had a ball cap on or something like that. So Jeff didn't recognize him. And my son was big into shoes back then. And so my son looks at Jeff and goes, "Those are awesome shoes." Jeff, not knowing who the fuck he is, takes the shoes off his feet and says, "They look like your size. You keep them."
Wow.
Like, that is good people shit. Like, and so he like comes back in. He was like, "Jeff gave me his shoes." Like,
if I would have known, I'd have been like,
"How did this happen, son?" Like what,
all right.
How did this happen?
That is weird.
That was funny. It was just all those people there. I was like, that was crazy. That was crazy. No, them fuckers hurt my feet, man. I couldn't stand them, dude. I was like,
he still has them.
I don't even remember which ones they were, but yeah, that was pretty ironic. But yeah, man,
there's good people out there. I think most people are genuinely good. They're just misinformed or misled. And unfortunately, that's human nature, is find the easiest path. So it's really hard to have an opinion and to be outspoken. It's very, very difficult.
Well, it is, but the problem with social media is everybody can have that opinion, and they don't understand that social media is not real life.
No.
And those
you talk about that all the time, Mark.
Yeah. I mean, Alan's seen the video. He's seen. I've caught a few people in public and asked them, "Hey, that social media shit that you live over here, and we're in the real life world right now. How's this going to portray?" And I've had to thump a couple, dude.
Well, I don't hide. Like on the 21st, I'm in New York alone. I don't travel with a posse. I do my shit on my own. I'll be at an event, Natural Body in, I think it's Hicksville, New York, Long Island. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Even this guy came at me, this fitness guy on YouTube. I destroyed him in a live debate. And I'm like, hey man, come up, meet me. I'm not afraid. I don't live my life afraid. If someone's going to attack me, they're going to attack me. Right. They'll find me. I mean, there's Google now. You can find where I'm at. There's no hiding where you live. No. So I'm like, dude, I'm at the same gym every single day. Here's where I'm at. Like, if you're really serious about this, like, what am I going to do? Like, there's no way to hide anymore unless I flew out the country. So I'm like, hey, if you happen to be in this area, I've threatened, people have been like, oh, you can't box. Cool. Here's my boxing gym. If you want to spar, you just need a USA boxing card. It's $100 a year, and then you're covered by their insurance, and they'll let you spar in the gym. Let's go. Not one time has anybody taken me up on that because they live in this bubble, and nobody who could actually fight is going to threaten to beat me up. Because no fighter wants to fight. Because fighting sucks.
They understand the
fighting sucks, dude. You're gonna hurt your hand at least. Like, but there's this funny story. Just parlaying it in the news. This one was fascinating, y'all. Like, this one was fascinating. I haven't even watched the whole thing, but apparently a Kamala Harris surrogate. And let me actually pull this up. Roland Martin gets caught on live stream watching black gay porn after it's fed to him in his algorithm. You couldn't make this up, from Ian Miles Chong. Let me go ahead and rewind this and make it full screen. I haven't seen this, so I think Alan has. Yeah.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen it. I saw you post.
Okay, hold on. Ready?
Let me go ahead and play this one for y'all. Check this out.
About your opponent, Donald Trump. I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
That was a very nonpartisan question. She definitely asked, she's definitely just as hard on JD, and Tulsi tore her up this weekend, by the way. I have another clip on that.
Yeah.
Any same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
Before we get to the gay porn, the tired playbook, it's actually been, there's reports that Kamala's strategy for the debate is not to talk about fact, just to attack Trump's record. So it's all going to be personal attacks and absolutely nothing about her platform. But anyway, I'll play it.
That's it. That's it. About your opponent, Donald Trump.
We got to see that over again. What was that? I don't think YouTube.
Wow.
Streaming on the Black Star.
Wow.
Hey, are you guys subscribed to the Black Star?
My subscription just ran out.
Yeah, I need to re-up. I got to make sure my recurring subscription is going. By the way, shout out to Black Star. Shout out Black Star, the best gay corn in the industry.
About your opponent, Donald Trump. I was a little bit surprised.
I don't know what he's saying there, but it's probably hilarious.
You have never interacted with him, met him.
His next question. Let me go ahead and play this one for y'all.
Oh my Lord, that is so
dude,
great.
That's bad. So Jeff wrote a song, I think it was 2020 or 2021, called "We're Living in a Movie," and I've sent it to you multiple times.
We're living
in a fucking movie.
It's a Black Star movie.
It's a movie, bro.
Everyone involved in politics is a sexual deviant. Like, if you look at my
fucking for real,
if you look at my internet history on my computer right now, it's probably a bunch of spreadsheets on Google, a bunch of Google Sheets, Google Docs, whatever my companies send me. And it's like a bunch of studies, PubMed. I'm a really boring individual. And I might look at ESPN to see the college football scores because I know a lot of coaches there and I want to see how they did. My son likes watching it, but it's just really funny. It's really funny how whether it's the left or the right, they always have some weird sexual fetish. That just shows me that I'm not saying always, but it seems like it's above the national
It's a
norm.
lot, for sure. It's a lot.
That's because these are people who they like power and they get bored. So they get bored and they need that dopamine hit of power, of whatever, of porn.
It's
so
like,
these are
what can they get away with? It's the sexual deviant thing. I've said that before too. I think they just get, I mean, look what's going on with Vince McMahon right now. It's like these people with the money and they just get to a point where they're just completely bored and they want to see what they can get away with. It's disturbing.
The Vince McMahon thing is fascinating because he allegedly like pooped on a girl's forehead or her chest. I'm just wondering, like, did he ask first? Because I asked, I'm not going to say who, but I asked one of my WWE friends, and people, please don't guess who it is because and I'm like, so let's say I wanted to poop on my wife, I'm like, do I tell her or do I just go for it? Because there's got to be a setup. Like, you can't just, like, I can't just poop. I need like a staging. Like, I need to like get set. I need to have my phone. I need to be searching Twitter or something for it to completely release. Now, is he that ready to poop where it's just a spontaneous boom? Or is she sitting there just waiting for it, like in anticipation? Like, how do you poop on someone? I want to know the setup. I want to know the setup. Like, I really want to know.
I can tell you this. I can find out about anything and everything involving WWE at any time. And that last week when I was where I was, that's one question I just don't have in me to ask because it's foul, bro. Reading the transcripts and shit, dude.
Well, the good news is most of the wrestlers had no idea anything. 99% of them. And, most of them are just out there. They don't even see Vince McMahon other than once every 5 years when he was there. Like, they dealt with the other guys. They sent their contract via email. They're good to go. So, like, the guys I know, they had very little interaction with Vince. Very little. At least now the Attitude Era was different. Back in the 90s, 2000s, Vince was out there wrestling with him. Right for the last, like, 10 years, like, they're not, like, he wasn't as involved, Hunter, Paul, whatever, he's doing a lot of the stuff. So it's like, I think it's hysterical.
It does go to show, like, very rich people tend to start risky behaviors. I always think back to not just Vince for like letting your brother-in-law choke slam him a bunch of times, but because his brother-in-law is the Undertaker. But the one that always like gets by me is Shane McMahon. Like, Shane McMahon did not need the money. No. And that motherfucker jumped off like
everything. And you know what's crazy?
Scaffolds.
Nah, but he's just a real G. I think he's just a dog. He's a dog.
You know what else is wild too when you talk about that? If I'm not mistaken, it was up until he was in the 70s that any crazy spot they were going to do, Vince would do it first to make sure it was safe for his people. Like, all these motherfuckers they all have loose screws, like, to do what they do, but it's just crazy that his name came out because I brought that up because that is one of these wild situations you're seeing right now with people with money that just do crazy shit that you wouldn't think because of the person they are in the public so much. It's just, I don't know, man. It's wild. I don't know how to take it. And that's one of those things that, it's like, that Netflix doc's dropping here in a few weeks on it. And it's supposed to be pretty.
Man. So, I mean, things are weird. I remember when I was a kid and, like, my dad had Playboys. I think everybody had a Playboy subscription back when we were kids. And he didn't, like, have a subscription. We didn't have the money for it. So he would, like, buy it occasionally. And I remember the first time I saw my cool boobs. And then I remember my friend's parents had Penthouse. And I opened it up and there were chicks peeing on each other. And it blew my mind. I'm like, why is she peeing? That's so weird. And apparently that's a thing. Like, I'm a boring guy. My idea of kink is hooking a leg during missionary. You know what I mean? You hook the leg. 1, 2, 3. Have you ever hooked a leg and then do the 3 count like you're pinning her?
Take down. That's a trip, bro.
Alan's keeping quiet because he knows he does it. He's he's got it for the pin. 1, 2.
I was like you. Like, I didn't understand how Playboy was it was the classy one of all of them, right?
Yes, it was.
I didn't understand that until my freshman year at the University of Cincinnati.
You went to UC. What year?
Yeah. I was there with that whole crew of Harbaugh and let's see.
So
my
business partner Chad Vortamesh, played football there between 95.
Dude, tell Vorto who you had on tonight, bro.
No shit. Shut the fuck up.
Dog.
Shut the fuck up.
Look at me, I'm just making friends.
He left.
Shut the fuck up. Vorto, he's my business partner. He's my guy.
He left a year before I came in. Yeah, I was a quarterback right behind him. Chad Plummer, who took his job, was that's my people, man.
Well, Chad had his final year taken away. You know that.
Chad was a monster of an athlete, bro.
I heard that. He was a running back in high school.
No, he was an athlete. He played at Tallahassee Godby. He was a quarterback, receiver, running back. He was just an athlete, like a Swiss Army knife. He also was a hell of a basketball player, and he was all state in tennis. Like he was just like epitome of that. But yeah, I've hung with Bordeaux a few times back in the day. That's wild. But yeah,
well, he has 4 kids now, and he's been in business with me since 2011.
No shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He would remember McCool. There's a few stories floating around still on campus.
He's gonna shit his pants.
I was just in Cincy Saturday.
Well, come by our warehouse is in Loveland.
No shit. I had no clue.
Yeah, we have a gym and everything. Yeah.
I'll do that. I try to go up every couple of months. One of my best friends, Robert Cooper, Coop was a stud tailback, and he opened a gym there. And every Friday they have the Bearcat Hour, where a bunch of old heads will go in and work out at his gym.
I think I sat and Chad had he has the suite, so we go to the we'll go and get the free shrimp and shit once in a while at the UC games. Yeah, that's fucking sick.
I came in. Obviously, I was football, but my recruiting class, basketball was the year Kenyon came. We had Kenyon Martin, we had Ruben Patterson, Melvin Levitt, Danny Fortson. Like, I didn't give a flying shit about football. I just wanted to watch hoops. It was so good.
That was the basketball school, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, we had a lot of.
Man.
It is. We do all our marketing over at the field. Like at Nippert. Yeah, we do all our videos and shit at Nippert. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate that damn state. I've run every step in that son of a bitch about 1,300 times.
I'm surprised. Yeah, Chad's told me about that shit. I'm the only one who calls him Chad because I mean I got past that whole last name thing after football. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, can we go by first names? Don't call me Lowbliner. I'm not going to call you Vorto, okay? And so the problem is we have like 12 Chads in our company, so it's fucking weird.
You got to. Yeah.
That is. I'm sorry to sidetrack, but this is fucking crazy, Alan.
It's
you
wild,
didn't tell me you knew Chad's fucking teammate, basically.
Yeah. I didn't know. I wish we'd have got to play. I mean, he stuck around after his last year eligibility, and I was a freshman, so we were in the same spots a lot of times. And then I remember the last time he was really good friends with like Brent Petrus and all the guys that I ran with. So. I've known Vorto since shit 96, I think. Yeah.
Wow. Well, we got to have a reunion, man. Why don't you?
To him in probably 15 years, but
why don't we?
Last time I saw him was in New Orleans when Cincinnati played Florida in the Sugar Bowl.
I remember that. Hey, I remember that vividly. So next time, let's go offline, set up a time. We'll meet up in Cincy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll make sure you have his number.
I'll get up there. I try to get up. Well, I'm gonna definitely try to get there once a month now to visit my dogs because I just moved my ex up there. She's got my damn dogs. So
let me know when you come up there because I'm there all the time.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. Let's do that.
I'll make sure you guys have each other's numbers.
Awesome.
Oh, that's fucking obviously. So back to shit. That was ADHD unintentional, Alan. Apologize. Yeah. Did you guys see?
Don't apologize to me. I'm loving it.
I have it bad too.
I literally have the strangest boner right now. That was such a great conversation. so like speaking of football, did you guys see this story? So this rookie stud, I actually just saw him play because I went to a Titans preseason game. Ricky Pearsall, who's an absolute stud. He just gets back from signing autographs and he gets shot by a guy who was released. Yeah. Who's already been arrested and released, a Norteno gang member.
On gun charges too.
Yeah. So here's the problem. Man, hopefully now that it's happening to celebrities, people will start to understand what's going on in this country.
But Mark, look where it happened, and it happens there all the time.
But now it's happening.
Dude.
Now it's happening to everybody. It's happening to rich people. It's happening to celebrities. So it used to just happen to people who are normal, like you and me. See, the problem is, Jeff Allen, if you and me die, they don't care. Like I might get a write-up in fucking some bullshit muscle magazine, but it ain't getting picked up by fucking New York Times or fucking CNN. But you see, they tried to bury this. Like, you can't even find it. A fucking stud, like fucking rising star in the NFL. This guy, you know how hard it is to make NFL, Jeff.
For sure.
It's impossible, basically.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. I think it happens so much now. I don't think that dude knew who he was from Adam's House Cat. He just saw his car, knew he had money. I'm just going to shoot this dude and take his shit. And I mean, he shot him in the chest, all the way, exit wound out the back, no vital organs. Thank you, whatever, man. It's just crazy. But I agree with you. The more it's sad, but it's going to take more violence and more shit happening to people in the limelight before anything.
Yeah. Well, the good news is, if I know enough about what I've read, he should actually be back next year.
Yep.
If everything goes as planned. The good news what I'm happy with is he didn't get shot with a 22. A 22 would have bounced around and taken out everything. A 9 or a bigger caliber is going to go through and through. That's your best chance. So that's the bright spot. The bad spot is that we have normalized innocent people being shot to the point where even when a celebrity gets shot, we don't care. And the media is burying it because San Francisco is Kamala's place, right? So they don't want Kamala to look bad. So we are actually not seeing, this should be the front page of everything. Everything. But they won't do it because San Francisco is going to hurt Kamala. It's going to hurt the Democrats. And that's why we're not seeing it. Because if there's one thing that idiots do, it's watch football. Right? Like, football is our escape, but a lot of people, they're so caught up in fantasy football and whatever and watching sports ball, they don't pay attention to what's going on in the world. So once it starts impacting their world, they will start to notice. So they're burying this on purpose.
Yeah, it's sick, dude. It's sick. It's what was it? Wasn't it Pelosi's husband that the whacker walked in the house and hit with a hammer a couple years ago?
Yeah, his lover.
You couldn't get that shit out of your news.
The wacko. I'm sure he was whacking other shit too.
Yeah, I'm just saying you couldn't get that shit out of your news feed because of who it happened to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like they're burying all. It's sick, bro. It's just sick.
I'm not a fan.
No,
me either. I'm not a fan. Not a
No.
fan at all. That motherfucker. I just think that, like, here's what it's so sad because COVID messed up so many people, and there's so many people that are part of that cult now, where, like, it's strange how people don't realize how we're actually not free right now. How we're actually just, the federal government's not actually acting like the federal government. They're one of their only jobs, one of their 3 basic functions is to secure our border. And at the beginning of this administration, 91 executive orders to literally open the border as wide as possible. It's this crazy stuff where people can complain all you want, but what's happening now is not a mistake. It's a function, right? It's not a mistake of they screwed up. It's the same thing. I said this about COVID. Like, the CDC and the FDA and all these people, they didn't make 3 years of ridiculous, stupid mistakes. It's a function of what they were trying to do, right? Kill small businesses, like, weaken the people, make sure that people are less healthy by locking them inside, not letting them get in the sun, ordering DoorDash, streaming porn, watching, like, everything like that. And it's insane. And then they light a match and basically say rioting is okay. Like, these are functions. These are not mistakes. These are functions, right? And come to what Mark's saying, I agree with you. If it starts, like, if somebody very high up in the Democrat Party has this happen to them, it will catch attention. They don't care about like Republicans getting shot. Shit, Trump got shot, and they're trying to say it didn't happen. You know, like
that's the craziest thing.
Yeah, it's wild, and the amount of people that were, damn, you know, another inch to the right, or can't believe it. Like, bro, I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, that's wild shit to say. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's crazy, bro. I mean, we've just gone absolute Looney Tunes. And speaking of like that whole government shit, another wild thing. I think I've talked to Alan about this before. My grandfather's my great uncle pronounced JFK dead, right? And
really,
he was, yeah. Well, back in the day, if you died from a gunshot wound, fire victim, or drowning, you had to be pronounced dead by a justice of the peace instead of the coroner. You know, it was just a weird law. Anyway, and so he just gets a call one day to come to Parkland and sign the death certificate. That's all he did. Now this was on my mom's side, and we called him Judge, you know, Uncle Theron. He never really talked about it and whatnot, but my dad speaks vividly about the conversation they had in 85 or 86, just sitting on the porch in Garland, Texas, just shooting the shit. It was the first time he ever opened up about it. And he knew then. I mean, he told him then, like, this is what happened. And it's all unfolding, what, 55, 60 years later now?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's crazy. I mean, if social media and shit were around then, like, what would the landscape of the world be now? Because so many things would have been able to be prevented, or people would have already been punished for. It's just this crazy rat race of cover up, move to the next wild shit to take your mind off the thing that was going on last week, and to watch the people just conform to that and believe it and follow it is just mind numbing.
Social media has saved our world.
Oh yeah,
it has, because now we all can talk about it. Before we just had to watch CNN. I mean, that was our news. So you could only see what was shown to you. And now you have camera phones. Everybody has one. You basically have the equivalent of a police body cam on every citizen in this country. I mean, that's the coolest part, is that, yeah, they suppress things, but how much was suppressed before? How much did the government do that we will never know because they hid it? And because the media has always been crooked. The media has always been state media. We've never had a free media. I know they always make fun of Al Jazeera. They always make fun of China. They always make fun of Russia for state-run media. What the fuck do you think we have?
Bro, does nobody find it just unbelievably just absurd that not one American media outlet covered the Elon and Trump interview?
Seriously.
That shit hit the internet from a Pakistani news site until Twitter released it the next day in its full platform. Like, not one news outlet, American news outlet, covered that shit live. It's mind-boggling, dude.
Remember, but here's the crazy thing. Remember when Barbara Walters would interview Gorbachev and all these world leaders who were communists, we were at odds with, and she was heralded as a great journalist. Now Tucker goes and interviews Putin, and they want to expel him from the EU, from America. So no longer are you allowed to be a journalist's job is to tell the story. It's not even to tell the story, it's to let people tell their side of the story and to let the people interpret it. And then the opinion reporters, let's say, like your Sean Hannity's and whoever's on CNN, right? Your Don Lemons, they go and they interpret or they give their opinion on it. But there used to be the Cronkites of the world who would go, or the Barbara Walters, who'd be like, hey, I'm going to interview Putin. And we're going to go and let's see what this motherfucker has to say. We're going to ask him some tough questions and it's going to be a fucking great interview. Now, if they interview Trump, they come combative. If they interview Kamala, they're basically just giving her a fluff piece. And then if they want to interview somebody who has a different side, like Putin, like anybody else who's not under the umbrella of left, they're called traitors. I think I wanted to hear Gorbachev talk. I want to know what they're saying. That interview, dude, reporters would give their life for that interview. And they literally did. They'd go into combative territory to give these interviews because that would win them prizes. But now it's become so overtaken by the radical left that we can't even get news anymore.
Right. It's crazy.
One of my favorite media clips to this day was the one that surfaced about midway through all the Corona stuff when the lockdowns, where it showed every news, the script, when they were showing each network. Today we bring you, and it would go to the next one and follow the script, and it would bring them all together at the end. I mean, just read the script, and people just, oh, no, that's CGI. That's just great editing. No, you dumb ass. Like, just flip the channel.
Script.
Same shit. Oh man, it's absurd. It's absurd. If anybody needs to know, Florida State's getting beat at home by Boston College 20-6 right now. So anyway, go ahead.
No shit.
They're about to score. They're about to score again. They're dog shit. Anyway.
Well, on that note, we'll let you go watch the rest of the dog shit because
I'm gonna join my son in watching that dog shit too.
Hey, I'm 3 months without tobacco.
Really?
Fucking great goddamn job, motherfucker.
34 years, and just said I had to stop.
I'm proud of you, bro.
What are you using instead of tobacco? Cocaine.
No, that's a whole nother 3-year phase.
Cocaine is expensive.
The Rogue pouches.
Nice.
Yeah. Getting to the point where my dad's the same way. He chewed for 40-something years. He just quit one day, and I was like, "Yeah, it's my time too." And but yeah, just trying to take all those steps. But man, I enjoyed the shit out of it. Tell Vordo I said what's happening.
I already did. I just texted him. He's an hour ahead, so he's probably asleep, or doing whatever. He's actually up usually.
He'll probably respond with, "That was that fat ass quarterback, right?" Yeah, that was him.
I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to say. We were actually just another anecdote. So both of us ran up the score because he coaches his son's football, obviously in Ohio. I'm in Tennessee. Yeah. And he got an angry text from the other coach calling him classless. I'm like, dude, we got called much worse than that. So we're good. Hey, dude. Hey, if you don't want us to score, stop us. That's your fucking fault.
That's what I always said too. Listen, if I got my second and third team in and we're still scoring, that's on you, bro. Like,
amen.
They need reps too,
Yes, sir. I'm not going to tell an 11-year-old not to score.
No shit.
The participation trophies, jeez.
Yeah. So where can they find you, brother?
Everywhere, man. Instagram, Moccasin Creek, just like the snake. Moccasin_Creek, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook.
Buy their music. Their music's amazing.
It's in the eye of the beholder. And I am really proud of this last album. It's pretty diverse. And we do a lot of real music. It's not all gimmick based and all that shit. And got some really talented people on it. So it's been a pretty cool journey, dude, man.
This motherfucker to a country beat has a song that quotes Poe like 5 times. Edgar Allan Poe.
Really?
Like, yeah, dude. Like
I forgot about that one.
It's funny because like I'll send him ideas and shit like that. Like, I'm still waiting for you to do "Who Do You Love" by George Thorogood. Like reboot that one. But dude, he did.
You know what? If he wasn't, honestly, man, I didn't know when I got into the music business. I didn't even go to a music studio until I was 31. So I'm still kind of green in this shit when you really look at it. I didn't know nothing about it. I'd always heard "Don't meet your heroes," that type shit. Well, I grew up in the athlete world, so I was around those people. I was never starstruck, didn't work. Dude, if George Thorogood wasn't the biggest grade A 100% pompous ass piece of shit that I ever played for in front of and open, I would redo that one. Dude, he was the biggest ass hat that I've ever shared a stage with, hands down. And I've been on some stages with some assholes, and he was. Dude, it was that shit you hear like when he comes backstage, go into his green room, don't make eye contact type shit. I'm like, okay, you talked to the wrong one, bro. I'm gonna walk right up and say how you doing, and yeah, he was an ass, man. He was an asshole.
I hear you.
Love his music. It's just a shame. It's a shame some people are like that. So, but that's an all walks of life. Hey, Mark, if you ever get a chance, I gotta give my boy a plug. And in fact, Bordeaux played with him too. One of our good buddies, Fred Ward. I've told Alan about it. He's got a barbecue spot right there on Short Vine Street that's been open for like 20 years now. But it's the only healthy alternative to barbecue in the country. All he does is smoke turkey. There's no other bullshit in there. It's all smoke. Like
send me the info. We'll go there and promote the hell out of it on the other channels.
It's super, and that's where he kind of blew up on all the news channels and whatnot, telling look, you can have any sort of food you want to in a healthy.
Oh, Chad just replied. Chad just replied. He said, "LOL. Where in the hell did you run into him?"
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a crazy spot. You know what? So it just hit me too. Mine and Vordo's. We have like the mutual best friend, Ryan Fletcher, and you probably heard him talk about him. Fletch, he played basketball there. And
I know Fletch. I've met Fletch a few times.
Yeah, big 6'10" joker. I had to save him a few times. But
I've heard the stories.
But I remember Fletch telling me not too long ago, I said something about, he said, yeah, Vordo's killing it. He's been doing this health shit. And he was talking about Tiger Fitness. I'm like,
yeah, that's me and him. That's me and Chad.
I'm like, bro, this is crazy. This is crazy, awesome, man.
He's typing something. I almost think we need to wait for what he's typing.
I don't have anywhere to go up. This
is great. He said, "Oh man, he has some of the funniest stories ever."
Hey, dude, and I'm not being egotistical in any way. I get told this all the time. I'm like, I know there's people out there that they could do the same story about. There's people, but if the right director got and ran an actual, like, not biopic, but just movie based on, bruh, it's just, I've had some wild things take place in life. I was in Rochester. I was in Rochester, New York, one time in a big 4-star hotel in a suite on the ground floor, and woke up to a horse tied to my nightstand. Like, I've had some shit happen, bro. Like, just you can't make it up. But those years in Cincinnati they're full of them too, bro.
Well, yeah. we're gonna have to sit down and hash it out in Cincinnati. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
We'll do it, brother.
That's awesome.
And by the way, people always think because we're from Ohio, I shouldn't wear a Michigan hat. I'm like, no. Chad went to Cincinnati. They hate Ohio State too.
Oh yeah. That's a fact.
So Chad's all good with my relationship with Sharon and Michigan. He's all good.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Fucking standing.
Oh man.
All
right, man. Let's have him back
I'm gonna take
Chad.
us. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, dude, that would be awesome.
Chad doesn't take us
anytime. You let me know. I got 40-something acres in the middle of rural Kentucky by myself, so I got time.
I bet you're close. How far are you from Nashville?
About just right at 2 hours. I'm an hour south of Louisville.
How about I just come visit?
Anytime, dude.
Sounds good, brother. Let's do it.
Remodeled. Jeez.
Yeah. So tell me when it's ready. I'll bring the family up.
That's why I'm in an Airbnb right now. We started doing the bathroom yesterday and busted the main water line, so I have no water right now for about 3 days. So, well,
good news is I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, there you go. Hell yeah. Nah, that's the plan,
awesome,
man.
Bro.
What I want to do in the spring, Alan, and I definitely got to get you guys up for this. Once we get it all finished, we're gonna have a little stage and covered area. I want to put a wedding venue out there at some point, but I want to have a little stage. We're gonna do a little camping with the creek weekend. Just have everybody out for acoustic. I want to have like 100 people, just real intimate, kind of like the cruise shit.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, just to do something like that. To thank everybody who's been with me for this 15 years, because I'm not making any bones about it. When this album's out, I'm gonna push it and do what I do. I'm out, man. It's time for me to move into a different direction.
Chad said, believe it or not, he used to be able to sling the rock really good.
I couldn't. I wasn't gonna outrun anybody, but I made a lot of money. This is no shit. I could stand. I could get on both knees on the 50 and throw it to the uprights, and I'd win a lot of money. But the thing is, I couldn't throw it, but about 6 yards further when I was on my feet. I had terrible mechanics. I just had that Marino release, and I couldn't run. So
he just said you were a fatleat.
Yeah, I was, dude. I was. Hey. I had a very prominent NFL coach. I had a very prominent NFL coach tell me on my pro day. He said, "You're going to be the first quarterback to eat your way into the league and eat your way out." I was like, "Okay, you're probably right." Because the thing, I was a hard-headed kid. I mean, I ran a 4.9 at 240. I ran a 4.9 at 290. I was like, so you're not going to tell me any different. I'm just going to do what I do. And I was hard-headed. And I wish I'd have listened back then, but I really think everything. I don't think there's any coincidences. I think it all happens for some sort of path, and it took me on this journey for a reason to get me where I'm at now. Alan knows. I mean, I haven't been in a place like this mentally, physically, anything since I was probably 7, 8 years old. So, you know, I'm glad how everything happened. I'll be honest with you, had I gotten into the league, I'd have snorted my way out of it. I'd have got arrested. I'd have been. You couldn't have given me that type of money at that age.
No.
I wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been good for me. And that's what my biggest beef is with all the college NIL shit. The money the kids are getting.
Yes.
If they're not telling these, you just can't. Yeah, that's a whole nother combo, man. It wouldn't have been good for me. So I think everything worked out the way it was supposed to.
We'll have you back in a couple of weeks. We can talk all about that shit too.
Anytime,
awesome,
man. Anytime.
So I'm going to take us out on an ad. By the way, Labor Day sales going on at both Tiger Fitness and at AmbrosiaCollective.com.
Yes,
Go
sir.
get No Morbidity and Alchemy. Jeff has used them himself. So have I. I use them every day. So check that stuff out. I'll take us out on this ad, and thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you coming on.
No, thank y'all, man. We'll link up, Mark.
Yeah, and he was just at John Cobalco's 50th birthday party Saturday night.
Big bulk, hey, bro. Let me tell you something.
I can't.
I don't know what supplements they had in the 90s, but he was on all of them.
Yeah, that's why he lost his year of eligibility, sir.
Bro, I have never seen a dude. You remember the movie The Program?
Yeah.
Remember Latimer, the big monster?
So that was John?
That was Balk, dog. And the crazy thing about it, this dude also got his MBA in business in like 3.5 years. He was just like this brilliant hit. Like anytime he was lined up at nose, I just would make sure another quarterback was in. Because that's back when you could still get tapped on pretty good in practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, that dude was a monster. And to hear 50, dude, that sucks, dude.
Yeah, welcome to our world. We're old now.
I'll be 48 in 3 weeks. No, 47. Shit, I tried to add one. I'll be 47 in 3 weeks.
So old, you forgot how old you are.
Yeah. And
I do it all the time.
CTE, bro. I definitely have CTE.
We all have CTE, bro.
It's starting to leak out now. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. I'm going to watch the rest of this ass whooping in Tallahassee.
All right, brother. All right, Same here. Have a good night, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ladies, come here. If you want to burn body fat, not just a little bit, but a lot, I got the perfect stack for you. It's 3 products. Ember, which is a powerful thermogenic that you take in the morning, suppresses your appetite to a degree, and it raises your metabolic rate and have you burning calories all day long. Alchemy, what Alchemy is going to do is it allows you to eat those carbs in your meal guilt-free. It's going to take those carbs and burn it off as fuel, so you have plenty of energy throughout the day. Before you go to bed, you're going to take no morbidity. It's the best part of the stack because while you sleep, a deep, restful sleep, it's going to be burning calories, burning fat all night long. So you're going to wake up not feeling groggy, feeling refreshed, ready to go about your day. So we got you covered all day long. This is called the Holy Trinity Stack. And ladies, it's for y'all, for the queens.